Hello, 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 and welcome back to my channel, Winterberry Hearth. My name is Lisa, and this is part 2 of our shawl designing experimentation. This was loops and thread, a petite pearl. It's a polyester. It's supposed to be like a Chanel, and I used an H hook on it, so a 5.0 H hook. And I did my first part 1. We went over how I designed the shawl. I stumbled across a thread crochet edging, and I decided to add a body to it and a border. So we started here, we made a loop, and we put some single crochets in there, and then we started with some shell stitches. And I have a shell stitch going up this side here, which is our shoulder. And then I started creating these stitches for the body and added the edging as we went. So if you go back and watch the first video, I show you how to do this pattern and how to make the increases. Well, I did 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, and then I stopped the increasing. Yeah, I did about 4 and I stopped the increase. And I said to myself, make 2 and put them together. So I did a secondary one, and I did exactly the same thing on this one. Increased it the same. I have the same number of V-stitches going across, and now I'm at the point where I can join these, so I thought I would show you how to join them. So if you're going to do this, go ahead and make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I did 6 on either side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I increased all the way up to, 1, 2, 3, 4. I increased up to 5. Number 6, I no longer increased. And now I'm at the point where I'm playing yarn chicken. So I'm done. I don't have enough yarn to do any more. And let's measure this and see how big it is. This is it's about 28, 29 inches wide. So I'm going to go ahead and join them. It's enough to be a shawlette, and I thought I'd show you how we're going to join them. Okay, so this is the last motif that I worked. If you look at my video, it tells you how to do these motifs on the side. And this last row, I'm going to do a join as you go to the other half that I made. So I'm going to line these up, and because I have a shell stitch here, these stitches all along, and a shell stitch here, I have a chain 2 inside of each of these shells, and then in the V stitches it's just a chain 1. So that is a perfectly simple way to do a join as you go. All right, so I have finished that last motif. I single crocheted it to that chain 1 space, and then I'm just going to do a chain 1, and I'm going to work the shell. So there's 1, 2 double crochets in that shell. I'm going to do a chain 1, and then I'm going to go ahead and find the opposite. And let's go ahead and just put these together like this, so that my working half is on the top and the finished shawl half is on the back side. And with this Chanel, I guess right from wrong side, I guess I could try to make sure it's right from wrong. Yeah, that's right. There's no right from wrong. It's because it's only one-sided. All right, so I'm going to match this up to the shawl at the end of the motif on the opposite side, and I'm going to do a chain 1 into that chain 2 space, and then go ahead and do another chain 1, and then I'm going to work the 2 other double crochets in the working shawl. Okay, so I basically did the first 2 double crochets of my shell and a chain 1 on my working shawl. I went to the opposite shawl. I did a chain 1, or did a single crochet into the adjacent shell on the opposite side, on the opposite shawl. Okay, I finished with a chain 1 and 2 double crochets in that same shell. Now we're still on the working side. Now we're going to work the V's, and we're going to join by the V's. So we're going to do a double crochet, and instead of doing a chain one, we're going to just do a single crochet. So grab the opposite shawl, single crochet into it, go back to the working shawl and do a double crochet in it. So essentially, instead of doing a chain one in my working shawl, I've done a single crochet, which appears to be a chain one, and I've worked that single crochet in the opposite shawl in the first chain V-stitch on its adjacent side. So I'm going to continue this across. We'll just work again. On the working shawl, work a double crochet. You don't need to do a chain one. Look for the next V-stitch and just work a single crochet into it. Go back to your working shawl and put a double crochet in there. Okay? Double crochet in your V-stitch on the working shawl, single crochet in the adjacent shawl, and then double crochet into the working shawl. And do that all the way across. Just going to go ahead and do that real quick together. Hopefully it won't take too long. I did just come across today, in fact, today is June 24th. I just came across a post on Reddit in the crochet community where they were talking about Chanel and what a pain it is to work it. And it can be a real pain. So what I always recommend with Chanel, I think what made it work really easy with this was I used big loopy stitches. These are just V-stitches, so they're pretty loopy. And this is a mesh. The motif on the side is a mesh. It's a chain 2 mesh, and then it's worked with the border. I did have to frog a good half of this, and yeah, it was really kind of annoying, but it didn't break. That's what I was afraid would happen. I've worked with Chanel before, years ago. I don't know if, I think Lion Brand may have made it, I don't recall, but it was a thick Chanel. It was probably the size of my finger. It was really a floofy Chanel. This is not. This is a real thin Chanel. Like I said, I worked it with an H hook, and it didn't break when I frogged it, which surprised me. If Chanel breaks, if the thread in that side, that Chanel breaks, then there's no way, there's really no way to rejoin it together unless you have a scrap of the same kind of yarn that you can try to use. There's just no way to reconnect it, and it just unravels, and it's a nightmare. It's kind of a mess. And I think I had said in my first video that I would just try to be extra careful with this shawl if I ever do go to wear it. And I mean, I'm not terribly careful. I'm known to be clumsy. So, that's a wishful thinking. It's not going to happen. But at any rate, it didn't work up too bad. And I had said too in my first video, when you're designing this yourself for your own whatever, you could totally do this with a worsted weight yarn. I did this with an H hook. It's a loose enough stitch that you could totally do this with a worsted weight yarn. And you can experiment that way and see if that's something that you want to do with a worsted weight yarn. I don't know that I would do it with a bulky yarn, but you could try it with a finer yarn, like more of a lace weight yarn, and see if it works, if that works as well. That might be something that could work up with a lace weight, although it might be too loopy with a V-stitch. And you certainly would have to work your motifs, your increasing and your decreasing a lot differently, because it would definitely take more to work up the project. Okay, I finally worked all my way across. I finished my last V-stitch, and I finished my last double crochet in the working part of the shawl. I'm going to go ahead and the only thing left is the shell border at the shoulder. So I'm going to go ahead and work 2 double crochets into that shell. I'm going to do a chain 1, and then I'm a single crochet in the adjacent shawl half into the shell on its side, and then go ahead and finish your last 2 double crochets on the working shawl. And I had been doing like a double crochet here in the end just to join things, and I think what I'm going to do is work a slip stitch then in the adjacent shawl. So all along when I finished the shell, I did a double crochet in the loop and that chain 2 turn that we were doing, because that's what I would do, is I would chain 2 and then continue with my shell. So I would do a double crochet in that chain 2. So I am going to go ahead and finish with the double crochet there, and just because to make it neater, I'm going to go ahead and do a slip stitch into the top of that double crochet on the adjacent shawl, just to kind of join that last bit. And I am going to go ahead and cut this. I think we are done. I can't believe it. It actually pulled together. And let's tie this off. And I will weave in those ends later, but I wanted to give everybody kind of a general idea of how it looks. This actually turned out pretty good. So we have 2 shawl halves that we have put together to make a whole. Now I'm going to have to convince my daughter to be a model and put this on for me so that we can get some live photos of what a person looks like in the shawl, because it sure turned out nice. And it's so soft. This would be great for a winter item too, or like a fall item done with some fall colors. I would not recommend doing baubles with this Chanel yarn. I think with a worsted weight yarn, you could certainly get away with that. Instead of doing baubles in here, you could just do plain double crochets and then do a bobble row and then just plain double crochets, or you could do V-stitches and then a bobble row and V-stitches and a bobble row. Whatever you want to do in your creative mind and your creative talents to bring it together and make something for yourself that fits. But I hope that you really like this. It turned out to be fun. Like I said, I stumbled across this thread crochet border, and I have done thread crochet for many years, and I have never actually worked this border before. I think it's okay, and it would be pretty done in thread. I think it's kind of gargantuan holes. I don't like big holes like this normally, but I think with the Chanel it works really well. It looks lacy and soft, and it is really, really soft. Well, I hope that you had fun experimenting with me on our little kind of a crochet along. I guess that's what we're doing, is kind of a crochet along. And I hope that you were able to take something away with it, because that is the point. I'm trying to teach people how to do stuff, how to invent for themselves, to make something out of your own, from your own creative mind, because that's what this is all about, is making a creation that fits you, suits you, and yet is something that you can actually, you can actually gift to somebody, maybe a Mother's Day gift or a bridal gift. Maybe it would be a great in a champagne color for a bride to wear on her wedding day, or white. But anyway, thanks so much for joining. Give me a like and subscribe. I really hope that everybody can make the most of my videos. Have a good day.